You're welcome to Daily Bread. This is Joshua Jeremiah, your host. It's a great honor and a great privilege sharing God's word with you. We don't take it for granted. We give God all the praise and glory for this opportunity. And we thank God for you as well for taking the time to watch and to share these with as many as you know. Please continue to do that. Help us spread this everywhere so you can get to the ends of the earth, blessing, impacting, and transforming the lives of many to the glory of God in Jesus' mighty name. May your faith please God. May your faith distinguish you and set you above all others. Hebrews 11 verse 1 and 2, the New King James. The New King James reads, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Verse 2 says, "For by it the elders obtained a good testimony." By their faith, may your faith obtain a good testimony from God. The Amplified reads, "For by faith," Hebrews 11:2 Amplified, "by faith, trust and holy fervor born of faith, the men of old had divine testimony born to them and obtained a good report." May your faith obtain a good report from God. The Living Bible reads, "Men of God in days of old were famous for their faith." Man, this is one that really hits home for me. Men of God in days of old were famous for their faith. What are men today being made famous of? Oh, I said this is what hits home for me. Yeah. Their PJs, their private jets, some of them go on air and make noise. We have 4, we have 5. That's what they are made famous of. The size of their congregation, the multitudes that they gather, those are the things they're made famous of. Their wealth, their power, their influence, their status, those are the things. Men of God in days of old were made famous for their faith. The Message translation reads, "The act of faith is what distinguished our ancestors." May your acts of faith distinguish you too. The acts of faith is what distinguished our ancestors and set them above the crowd. May your acts of faith distinguish you and set you above the crowd. May your faith do great exploits for God's kingdom in Jesus' mighty name. Matthew chapter 8, verse 5 to 10. "Now when Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him, pleading with him, saying, 'Lord, my servant is lying at home paralyzed, dreadfully tormented.'" Jesus said to him, he came, this centurion, a Roman soldier, not just anyone, a senior officer. A centurion is 100. So he's an officer who had over 100 soldiers under him. And that's a big position. This man came to Jesus seeking for healing, not for himself, but for his servant. How precious was that servant? A servant that you could just replace anyhow. This one is sick, find me somebody else. But yet he came to Jesus seeking healing, not for himself. I'm going somewhere. He said he's dreadfully tormented. Verse 7. Jesus said to him, "I will come and heal him." The centurion answered and said, "Lord, I'm not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only speak a word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. I say to this one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it." When Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to those who followed, "Assuredly, I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel." Great faith. Why would Jesus make such a statement on a Roman soldier? Great faith. He said, "I have not found great faith, not even in Israel. But I see great faith in this centurion." That's what Jesus is saying. This man came, great faith. This man came seeking for healing, not for himself. That's one of the things that stood him out. One, he wasn't seeking for himself. And we're all about ourselves. But he came seeking for healing, not for himself, but for his servant. Someone far lower than him. And then secondly, Jesus offered, "I will come to you and come and lay hands on him." He said, "You don't need to do that, sir. Just speak the word only. There's no distance in the realm of the spirit. What you say now would happen there." Woo! Great faith. There's some that until you lay hands on them, until oil is poured on their heads, until they feel something. Until they feel something. Great faith. Ay, ay, ay. Verse 13, Jesus said to the centurion, go your way as you have believed, so let it be done for you. And his servant was healed that same hour. My God. Jesus said, I've not found great faith. I'd like you to take note of this. This is, most people, this is their understanding of faith. This is what many people have. That faith enables them to receive from God. And I'm not saying it's wrong. Mark 11, 20 to 24. Now in the morning as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from his roots. You remember? Jesus cursed the fig tree. Then Peter, remembering, said to him, Rabbi, look. Rabbi means teacher. Look, the fig tree which you cursed has withered away. So Jesus answered and said to them, have faith in God. For assuredly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says. Therefore I say to you, whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you will have them. Wow. This is the prayer of faith. Whatsoever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them and you will have them. And this is very true. This is very true. That whatsoever you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them. It's very true. It's a prayer of faith. But this is what most people understand by the prayer of faith. And this is where their faith stops. It doesn't go beyond here. So it's all about whatsoever. I need a new car. I need new this. I need new that. Whatsoever things you desire, you ask, you pray, believe you receive them, and you will have them. And take note, what I'm teaching on, may your faith please God. I'm not saying when you ask for things and God grants them, He's not joy. It is the Father's good pleasure that you are full of joy, that whatever you ask, He grants. Okay? But I want you to take note. Faith is not only for receiving things. There is yet much more to faith. Faith is also for refusing things. It's not just for receiving things. The prosperity gospel has corrupted the understanding of people about faith. All they understand about faith, all most people understand about faith is for receiving things. Receiving my healing, my miracle, my blessing, my promotion, my increase, that's all they understand. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It's not wrong. But what I'm saying is there is more to it than that. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's more we can do with our faith than just receiving things for ourselves. The centurion came to Jesus seeking healing, not for himself, but his servant. How many would do that for their servants? And when he came, Jesus said, I will come to your house and lay hands on him. He said, you don't need to, sir. Just speak the word only. And many who are not content with the word, they need extra biblical things added to the word. Hear me well. There is faith to refuse as much as there's faith to receive. If you don't know when to refuse, when to say no, you would open the doors and receive what will eventually destroy you. You remember Elisha when he healed Naaman, the leper, the Syrian general? He offered him gifts. Elisha refused. Because you must know when to refuse and when to receive. When do you refuse in your spirit? The Lord will say, don't receive that. So he refused that. But when Ben-Hadad sent gifts to him, 40 camel loads, Elisha received it. He refused one, received the other. Someone will say, well, because the gift was small. No. Hebrews 11, verse 12, verse 23 to 31. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hidden 3 months by his parents because they saw he was a beautiful child. Another translation says he was a proper child. No, that wasn't what they saw. They saw that there's something special about this child. They saw beyond the natural. God opened their eyes and they saw there's destiny in this child. This child has a special assignment. And so because of that, they became bold and courageous and defied the instructions of the king. The instructions of the king was kill every male Hebrew child that is born, but they refused. They saw he was a beautiful child and they were not afraid of the king's command, verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he came of age, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Can you see faith to refuse? He refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Do you know what that means? That means foregoing all the pleasures of the palace, all the privileges of the palace, all the authority and power that comes upon you as a son of Pharaoh's daughter. He grew up in the palace. He was one of the princes of the palace. Never had to labor a day, never had to lift a finger for anything. But when he came to himself, he said, I refuse to be called the son of. You think he was just not? Oh, there were things that he let go. There's sacrifice. There's price to be paid for the prize. He said he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God. Why will he make such a choice? Refuse the pleasures and prosperity of the palace and choose suffering and affliction with the people of God. He said, choosing rather to suffer affliction with people of God than to enjoy the passing pleasures of sin, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures of Egypt, for he looked to the reward. Something happened in Moses. He located where God was. God was not in the palace. God was where these people were suffering. So we see Moses exercising his faith to refuse. What he refused was pleasure, comfort, wealth, the soft life, what many are pursuing today. And what he chose was hardship, difficulties, challenges. And why did he do that? Because he located, God was there. That was why. He chose where God was. Verse 27, by faith, he, Moses, forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. My God. Do you know that Egypt was the superpower of that day? And when Moses ran, Egypt could have sent people to hunt him down and bring his head back. But Moses dared that. Why? He had encountered God. He saw something that was beyond the natural. He used his faith to trust God and dared the punishment of the king by focusing on God whom he had encountered. He encountered God. You remember after he encountered God, encountered the Lord, he discovered his identity, his purpose and destiny. That was what happened to him afterward. Everything paled compared to that. Verse 27 of Hebrews 11, the Amplified reads, motivated by faith, he left Egypt. Moses left Egypt behind him, being unawed and undismayed by the wrath of the king, for he never flinched, but held stoutly to his purpose and endured steadfastly as one who gazed on him who is invisible. He encountered the Lord. He was so focused on the Lord Almighty that he encountered. The New Living Translation reads, it was by faith that Moses left the land of Egypt, not fearing the king's anger. He kept right on going because he kept his eyes on the one who is invisible. He saw him. The Message translation reads, by an act of faith, he, Moses, turned his heel on Egypt, indifferent to the king's blind rage. He had his eyes on the one no eyes can see and kept right on going. Verse 28, by faith, he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he who destroyed the firstborn should touch them. Do you know what that means? When he says, what is the faith that Moses did there? God gave Moses an instruction. Take a ram, kill it, take the blood, spit the doorpost and the lintel, and eat the meat. This is how you would do it. Make sure every Jew do. He said, because an angel of death is passing. Moses believed what he heard and acted on it absolutely without total doubt, without an iota of doubt. And you think that was not a heavy burden on him? Because if he was to miss one slight instruction, do you know what would have happened? The same destruction that befell Egypt would have happened to them. So he held on to God. If he faltered in any part, Israel would have suffered the same fate as Egypt did. He had to tread with so much caution, trusting God absolutely. Verse 29. By faith, they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, whereas the Egyptians attempting to do so were drowned. Do you understand what that means? God told Moses, stretch your hand, your rod, the rod of God in your hand. And the sea parted into two and dry land appeared. And God said, walk right through it. Walk right through it. What if something happens and the sea comes back? But he believed God. He believed God. He believed God. God was a guarantee because of what he said, that none of that will happen. The sea will not drown them. He trusted the instructions he received from God, acted on them by faith. The Egyptians attempted to walk right through, they were drowned in it. Verse 30, by faith, the walls of Jericho came down after they were encircled for 7 days. By faith, the harlot Rahab did not perish with those who did not believe when she had received the spies with peace. See what people use their faith to accomplish for God. Rahab used her faith to help God's people achieve victory in their conquest. Some used their faith to bring deliverance and salvation to God's people from their oppressors. Others used their faith to subdue kingdoms for God's glory. They walked to righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions like Daniel, quenched the violence of fire like the 3 Hebrew sons that they used their faith. What are you using your faith for? God bless you and keep it till we meet again in Jesus' mighty name.